Hi again, I'm Natalia Antonova.
I'm Anna Arutunyan.
This is going to be a story of how Anna and Natalia, calm down. This is going to be a story of how Anna and Natalia went to Luzhniki Stadium and saw Vladimir Putin. So I guess you have a right to be nervous, but you know.
I'm nervous because what's about to happen.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to actually step away from my normal role as Putin, whom I usually play in these segments. I'm going to play Anna Arutunyan, and Anna will be Putin.
Moving right along. So Putin gives this fiery speech at Luzhniki. I'm sure you've all heard about it. It was this battle cry, it's campaign stuff. But we get towards the end when he's fired himself up, and Putin as a man with not that much charisma, which this is interesting, but he does not have that much charisma. This is interesting. It's like he fires himself up. He gets to the point, and we have the end here.
So I'm gonna be Anna.
Yeah. We know these words from our school years. We know these warriors who swore loyalty to their fatherland and dreamed to die for it. Remember what they said? By Moscow then we die, as have our brethren died before. And that we'll die, we all then swore.
That's you. That was you. I'm sorry. This was really her face as she was speaking.
You did not see my face.
I did see your face. He didn't see your face. He had his back turned to you. He didn't care. Anyway.
And oath of loyalty near neath Berdinian sky. Now he's quoting
Dad! People at this point started actually like turning away from Putin.
I was speaking in English.
I think they were generally just hearing screams, and they were turning away from Putin.
I was whispering.
No, you were not.
I was whispering.
You were screaming, and people were like, Putin was not commanding their attention for a moment. It was you. It was Anna Arutunyan with her reaction to this speech. Now, her reaction is perfectly valid. Please lay out your reaction because I'm really interested to know and like why you had this reaction to this speech about death.
This is key. This is key because what happened to me at that moment was the subconscious reaction, which I'm sure was on some level felt by a lot of people there. I mean, in the pagan sense, and Putin was exploiting our pagan instincts. It's easy to understand how death on a battlefield sounds kind of cool when you compare it to your drippy faucet and your unpaid bills,
Even
which
though,
I was, you know.
I mean, am I incorrect in saying that it's going to be the drippy faucets and the unpaid bills that will determine whether or not Putin's third term as president, and I guess now at this point they're saying it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be president again, but that's going to determine the success of his term, basically.
But
I mean,
that's the key. The thing is, the people at Luzhniki, this was their life, their drippy faucet, their unpaid bills, their dilapidated infrastructure, and he knew this, that this was where they were coming from.
They needed a distraction from all that.
It's not just a distraction, he needed a way to something like that. So, anyway, 2 days after Luzhniki, and you were, I don't know, well...
I was with my child, because my nanny was late, yes.
Well, my nanny was not late, and I found myself hanging out of a taxi window, waving a white ribbon, driving around the garden ring for the protest, and I found myself feeling pretty much the same thing. And I'm saying this... Why?
Why were you
Well, because the same... Because... Like, at Luzhniki, and the sense I got from talking to people at Luzhniki, is that it's not about whether you love Putin, whether you support him, or whether you hate him. It's about these feelings of being riveted, of something happening. Oh my God, it's going to happen right now. It's going to happen.
Or is it about feelings of belonging? I mean,
belonging,
some
movement.
So you're concentrating less on the drippy faucet, and you're concentrating on the fact that you have a mission and you have a goal, and it's a transcendental experience. You're transcending the drippy faucet.
The people who were there, whether they were riveted by Putin, and I give him a B+ on his speech, right? Whether they wanted to be riveted by Putin, or whether they were riveted, whether they were forced to go, or whether they just went because they wanted a fun day out, and Putin was a pleasant surprise, as many told me, even though they did not like him. There's no contradiction here. Now, you noticed something very interesting.
I noticed something that was beautiful. It was great.
Yeah.
It was when he, at one point, Putin addressed the crowd and said that I can't hug every single one of you. And these women next to me, they just went wild, and they were just screaming, but why not? But we want you to. We want to be hugged. And of course,
I did. For the record, I did not do this. I did not even notice that he.
Yeah,
that was not me. That was not me.
To be fair, Anna's screaming about death came later. This was just people who wanted to be hugged.
Yeah, I was screaming about death. These people wanted to be hugged. Let's just make that perfectly clear.
Well, I guess because they were transcending the whole drippy faucet thing, and you were more like, I guess, trying to read between the lines, you know,
I guess
as
so,
a
yeah.
good journalist
Yeah,
ought
yeah,
to.
yeah. And it just all got to me. I guess it all got to me. So, but we want you to, right? We want you to. Why not? We want you to.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was really genuine in that moment. It had nothing to do with politics, however. It had everything to do with the sense of belonging and of having an identity that you can, you know, base your life around.
And here's why this is all very dangerous and all very scary.
Is it very dangerous?
Well, it's because look at what happened
What's
here.
exactly,
I mean,
what is the danger here? What's gonna...
Here's the thing. I mean, when it's not about politics, when it's about feelings, really, it's about. You know, in order to have politics, you need political channels. We don't have them yet.
Yeah, social institutions.
We don't. This was, in all essence, a pagan holiday to rally around your love or your hatred of the monarch.
It was not Muslim. It's a holiday, by the way. As
exactly.
I think we should mention. It's a pagan tradition that's kind of been, and it comes right before Lent. You know, so people can just kind of, you know, they can party it up and enjoy themselves, and then it's time to fast.
So, I mean, we had Luzhniki on the one hand, and we had the protests on the other. So essentially, these were like opposite sides of the same coin.
So Muslims, it began with Luzhniki, and it ended with the opposition protest, which was appropriate. I felt that it kind of worked out really well.
It did, but here's what we're seeing ahead of the elections and ahead of more protests to come. Now, feelings are good for any political campaign, but you need political mechanisms to channel these feelings. We don't have any. We do not. Well, we not functionally. I mean, let's say in America you have these channels. They're being exploited, you know, with all these feelings, but they're there. They're just being corrupted. In Russia, they are not even there to exploit yet. They're just about to be formed. Politics is just about to start.
I mean, it's about the fact that there are no social institutions that exist between like government and citizen.
Exactly.
You know, so you just have government and citizen. You're just kind of like
you're on your own. There's like
Yeah.
nothing between you and Putin, nothing between you and the Wheel of Fire, as Frodo said.
Dear God. So who's the Wheel of Fire? Is it Putin or is it citizen?
No, it's Putin.
It's Putin. Okay, Putin is the Wheel of Fire.
He's got the Siloviki behind him.
It's you know, it's a beautiful image, literary image.
But it's
scary. But
it's
I'll
scary.
admit it. It's a little bit scary.
Here's why. I mean, when because in a country like Russia, the largest country in the world, when your governing mechanisms are essentially ruled by feelings and signals, like these signals, you're going to get either tyranny or revolution and anarchy. And so when Putin talks about death, it's not just rhetorical. That's the thing. It's not. It's not just.
I kind of thought it was rhetorical. I mean, but also
it was also rhetorical.
But I mean,
it was rhetorical.
when Putin is out there fishing with his shirt off, that's also kind of rhetorical. I mean, I just feel that he's a guy.
But it's responding to.
He's a guy. I don't think he's really talking about death. I think he's channeling a certain kind of image that people want to see.
Exactly.
You know, he's like, okay, you want dictatorship?
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
You want to play? You want to
pretend?
Yeah, it's a pretend dictatorship. You want a dictatorship, but you don't want the blood. You know, I'll give you like a quasi dictatorship without the.
He's not. I mean, I think on an instinctual level, he understands that. You can't really be a dictator anymore. I think the time for dictators is kind of, I mean, look at Gaddafi. Look at how he ended up.
At least I hope he gets it.
And Putin really, I mean, we have to note that it has been said by many observers and analysts that Putin was very upset to see Gaddafi end the way he did, because to him that was just really brutal and unnecessary. And I would actually, I mean, maybe I'll get slammed for this, but I agree. I think that if you're going to change your country for the better, you shouldn't be like raping the dictator. You should be putting him on a fair trial, not shooting him in the head and raping him in front of cameras.
That's our little Gaddafi.
That's our little Gaddafi.
We're gonna get.
Well, we're gonna get what?
I don't know. We always have this conversation after the video segment. Now, what's going to happen to us?
What's going to happen
because
to
it's
us?
like we're living in this pretend dictatorship.
Well, I mean, I
wasn't supposed to say that either.
No.
You can't say that.
I just wanted to point out that Putin probably had the right idea when he said that, you know, violent revolution is kind of, it's passé. It's not how you build a healthier society.
But it all depends on society, on the masses, whether their minds can prevail on the
It depends on the people at Luzhniki, and it depends on the people in Bolotne. You know, it all depends on them.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, our time for today. Sorry if this was a little dark and disturbing there.
I think
towards the
all of
end.
our segments are dark and
Well,
disturbing.
we try our best to disturb
Yeah.
you, and
Yeah.
that's just,
Yeah.
that's what we're good at, I guess. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
cheers.
We're disturbed.
for
Cheers.
this week.
Don't be
Bye-bye.
disturbed.
Don't be disturbed.